Okay, so let's discuss basic interview question and answer related to BGP, Border Gateway Routing Protocol. First thing first, they may ask you what is BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. So we know this is exterior gateway protocol and the only protocol which use on the internet. And this gateway routing protocol used to communicate between more than one AS. Okay, we discussed what is AS, and maybe there can ask you next question what is AS. So that's why I mentioned here what is autonomous system number. So in my first lecture I mentioned you and I told you in detail what is border gateway protocol, so you can explain them. It's BGP is a path vector routing protocol, okay, and it's the only protocol which use on the internet. And you can explain them two main things, which is BGP provide route manipulation and it can handle a huge routing table. A huge routing table, if I go to any website bgp 4.as, and if I go to BGP looking glass server, which you can access public BGP server, yeah, free for read only. So let me go to any country. Let's go to Australia. So let me open this Australia. Okay, and let me type show IP BGP, and you will see a huge routing table. I'm pressing again and again space bar, and almost I pressed 20 times and still BGP table is not finished yet. And now I finish more than 30 times and still there is a huge routing table. So you can explain them. This is the only protocol which can handle huge routing table. None of the protocol, EIGRP, OSPF or any other protocol cannot handle a huge routing table. Second thing is which distinguish BGP is provide route manipulation. We can use 14 attribute to manipulate the routing. Okay, we can use, we already discussed attribute, yeah, so you can explain them that thing. And there are huge advantages of using BGP. There's just a few things I mentioned and you will realize that we already discussed this one. Second thing, they may ask you what is autonomous system, either AS. Okay, so I told you that what is AS. If I go to autonomous system, yeah, this one, INANA. So if I go to this website, yes, this one, Internet Assigned Number Authority. So here I told you that same like a IPv4, we have public IPs and we have private IPs, and same like IPv6, we have some private IPs and some of them public IPs. And IANA, they are the Internet Assigned Number Authority, which can provide you IPv4, IPv6. Similar, they can assign you this autonomous system number allocation. And we have two types, 16, and these are the 16. Some of them private, we discuss in detail. Okay, so you can explain them those things in detail. Next thing, this the normal question which they ask in interview. They say, can a router on different subnet become BGP neighbor? Yes. BGP does not require neighbor to be attached on the same subnet. It's not like a EIGRP or OSPF or RIP, so that your neighbor, because all those protocol, you know, they require neighbor has to be on the same subnet. Okay, but BGP is the only protocol which doesn't require that the neighbor has to be on the same subnet. But BGP router use TCP connection between the router to pass BGP messages, and they can make a neighbor. You get my point what I'm saying? So BGP is the only protocol which doesn't require neighbor has to be on the same subnet. And let me explain you from one topology, because it's the most question which normally ask an interview. I have three routers here, R1, R3 and R2, and I want to make a neighborship between R1 and R2, even though R2 is not directly connected to R1. and I don't want to enable BGP in R3, but I want to make these two routers to be neighbor. Is it possible? Yes. The only thing we need reachability there, and we can make these two routers neighbor. So let me open this R1 to configure quickly, and let me open R2. Okay, and let me open R3. Okay, so let's go to R1 first, and these are my scripts to quickly apply. Okay, in R1 I will change the name to R1. Under interface I will apply 13.1 and I will create one loopback interface. So let me do this one and paste. Let's go to R2. So in R2 is in this one, the last one. So R2 has also similar 23.2. I will change the name and I will create one loopback interface. So it's easy, and let me assign this one. R3, which is in the middle. Keep in mind R1 is connected to R3 13.1 and 13.3. Okay, this side 23.3 and 23.2. Okay, so these are connected. I want neighborship between R2 and R2, which is not directly connected, neither they are in the same subnet. R1 is in 13 subnet, this one is in 23 subnet. Okay, now in R3, which is in the middle, so just 13.3 and 23.3, just connectivity between these two routers. So let me apply this one. Okay, and now let's create neighborship between R1 and R2. Same thing. What I will do, router BGP 1 AS1 and remote S is also 1. I'm talking about Ibgp, and 23.2 is this one, 23.2, which is far away, not directly connected, neither in the same subnet. Okay, so what I will do, I will say that this is my neighbor and I want to advertise my loopback 111, but for reachability I create a default route, static route to reach there. So if I want to reach this 23 network, I need to give my route to 13.3, which is in the middle, R3 static route, because you just need reachability. So let me apply this one in R1. Okay, and now let's go to R2. I will not configure any BGP in R3. So in R2, again I will do 1 because I BGP. 13.1 is my neighbor and I want to advertise 2, but to reach 13 I need to give route to R3, which is in the middle. That's it. Just need reachability, and now it will become neighbor. But keep in mind, R3 there is nothing. Show running section BGP. No BGP is running. If you want to check, show running. You see there is no BGP running. Only two interfaces which connect are R1 and R2. But if I go here, show IP BGP, you can see I have a neighbor. So 1.1 is my own route and 2.2, and now I make a neighborship. So if I can show you, show BGP summary, so it's better to show you from here. 23.2, which is far away, this one, not 13. 23.s is become my neighbor, and if I go to R2, show IP BGP summary, so 13.1, and here 23.2, totally far away, is become my neighbor, and I am receiving the prefix as well. Why I told you that Ibgp use show IP BGP neighbor, show IP BGP neighbor. I told you that TTL value is 255. So this route can reach to R2, because for BGP it doesn't require neighbor to be on the same subnet. That's the beauty of BGP. But I configure Ibgp, keep in mind. Let me show you from here. If I capture, so this point has to be clear to you, okay? Because Ibgp use a TTL 255. so I can reach there. But if I configure Ebgp, then I need to assign one extra command. So if I go there and you see time to live 254, 255 basically, because it's near to me, so I can reach there. The only difference is if it is Ebgp, then I need to assign multi-hop. I need to increase multi-hop. You remember that thing? Yeah, we already explained you, so I don't want to go in detail. I hope so you get the idea. If they ask you an interview that can a route on different subnet become BGP neighbor, so you can say yes and you can explain them like this. Then what port number BGP use for connection? We already discussed this one, TCP 179. Let me show you from here. So we are using this the TCP, yeah? And if I go to this one, so here you can see TCP 179. So we are using port number 179, and we already discussed in detail, by the way. Then what is the difference between Ebgp and Ibgp neighbor? Okay, this is the good question. An Ibgp neighborship form between router within same AS number, because in Ibgp we are using same autonomous system number, while in Ebgp neighborship we are using different AS. Even though I mentioned you in video number 3 or something more difference between Ebgp and Ibgp, you can explain them more detail, but this is the shortcut. Because in Ibgp they are using same autonomous system and Ebgp using a different autonomous system number. Okay, and there are many other things. Then what is the administrative distance of BGP? So we already know Ibgp use 200. Let me show you from here. If I show IP route, so here you can find as well. Yeah, here is, because I configure Ibgp, so it's 200. If it is Ebgp, then it should be 20. Okay, so we already know this one, so you can explain them. Explain loop prevention mechanism in BGP. By the way, BGP use a different mechanism, but I just mentioned two. When a route learn route from Ibgp peer, that route does not advertise the same route to another Ibgp peer, and I show you in lab. Yeah, if you remember that video, so I told you that one, you can go through that video how it is not going to advertise the same route. And also by using AS path, we already explained this one as well, so you can go in more detail because it will take time to configure. I need to attach another route. By the way, I need to configure Ibgp here as well. So when they learn the route something from here, so they will not advertise to R2 due to loop prevention mechanism. Okay, that's the first thing which I'm talking about. So we already covered this one, you can go through that one. And do we need to follow three-way handshake process to establish BGP? Yes, because BGP use three-way handshake. If I reset clear IP BGP hard reset, and if I go there, so you will find TCP three-way handshake again. You can see, so it's require okay, you can see acknowledgement. Here is acknowledgement, sync, and sync acknowledgement. So should be three-way handshake. So yes, you can say that yes, it's required, because BGP use TCP, and TCP definitely require three-way handshake. Okay, what is the difference between the hard reset and soft reset? Again, we already covered this one. The one which I just use, this is called hard reset, clear Ibgp, and you know it's down everything, and here you will see everything is down. BGP, if I go to BGP, this is the last message, yeah, 73. So if I reset, so it will reset each and everything. Open message, keep alarm, and it will reset each and everything, and also a three-way handshake. and it will reset the three-way handshake as well. If you are using a hard reset, so the neighborship will be disconnected and it will be bring them down and then they will reconnect if you are using hard reset. But in case of soft reset, the router does not bring down the BGP neighborship. The neighborship will be still there. Show IP BGP summary. So this neighborship, but the only thing is if you want to down, so there is a command question mark, there is a soft. And if I quickly check, so my neighborship is still there. But in the case of hard reset, this is the hard reset. And if I check quickly, so my neighborship will be down now. You know, it's down. So it will make them down if you using hard reset, clear IP BGP, and it's a hard reset now, and it's again reconnect, and it's down. You know, so this the difference between hard reset and soft reset. Okay, so the neighborship will not bring them down in the case of soft reset. We already use these command as well, and these are the command clear IP BGP soft and clear IP BGP without soft. It's become like a hard reset, and so you can explain them in this way. And definitely, what are the different BGP messages type? So we discuss in detail. Open message we can check from here as well. These are open message. It's better to make them BGP. So this we discuss in detail. Open message, keep alive message, update message. Okay, these are the message type we discuss. Keep alive, update, notification message. So you can explain them these four message which we discuss in detail. Okay, and explain various states of BGP. Again we discuss in detail. Idle, connect, active, open send, and open confirm and establish. So you can mention them and you can explain them these as well. Some of them you can find from here which we discuss in that video. So you can go through that and you need to know about these various state of BGP. Okay, very important. Then explain BGP path attribute. Again we make two videos related to path attribute. Next hop you can find out more if I say show IP BGP. So from this command you can find most of the attribute here. If I go there, so this is next hop. Okay, weight attribute. So this is weight attribute, and we discuss why it is 0 and this one is 32768. You can find out more detail in that video. Local preferences. So this is local preferences. Local injected route. If it is local injected, AS path. So this is path. Origin. So you can find the origin code here, and MED. So this is the MED, and okay, and a neighbor type, and also Ebgp route, neighbor router ID. We can find the neighbor router ID, like this one is the local router ID, and a neighbor IP address. We can find out that one as well. So these are the attributes. So you need to be clear about the BGP path attribute. You can go through that video and you can explain them. Explain BGP weight attribute. So this is weight attribute which is local and only you can find in Cisco 32768. Okay, if it is a local route, and if it is, so it will become 0, and we discuss in detail this one. Explain local preferences. So again this the local preferences we discuss 100 and there is nothing. Why? So you can explain them in more detail. And also in Ibgp and Ebgp it will be different. Explain BGP MED. So again this the MED attribute. What is a recursive lookup? So 2 times they will check the destination, and it's the normal routing question. So you can explain them. What is route reflector and why it is required? Again we discuss route reflector. You know, and BGP route learn from Ibgp will never be advertised to another Ibgp neighbor. We know this one. To overcome this situation, route reflector is used. Route reflector client enable a route advertisement between this one. So it will break this rule and you will get the detail. So and more detail we discuss route reflector, and also we done one lab. Okay, so route reflector we use to eliminate full mesh requirement. So without full connectivity, still you will get all the details, so you can use route reflector. We know this one. What is the difference between local preferences and MED? Again, these are the two attributes, so you can explain them. What are the command administrative disable BGP neighborship? So that is the shutdown. You know, if I have a neighbor, okay, and let me go to router BGP1, and my neighbor is 192.168.23.2. yeah, so I can type shutdown, so I can bring down the neighborship. You know, the neighborship is down administratively. And if I don't need, control A and no, so the neighborship will be up again. Now the neighborship is up. So what is the command administratively disable BGP neighborship? So the command is this one, IP address of the neighbor, and you can type shutdown, and when you type no, so it will enable again. Can I run two BGP process under single router? No, I'm already running BGP1. yeah, if I go to show running section BGP, so I'm already running a router BGP. okay, so if I say router BGP2, it will give an error. They say BGP is already running AS1, so I can only run one BGP, not more than one. So you cannot run two BGP process on single router. It's not possible on single router. Okay, and define various BGP path attribute. So we already discussed four in detail. Four category: will noun mandatory, will noun discretionary, and optional transitive, and optional non-transitive. So you can go through that video and you will get the idea. And what is Ebgp multi-hop? So I told you, if your neighbor is not connected directly, so you need to apply multi-hop to reach that one. In the case of Ibgp, is 255. I mention you from here as well, because TTL value is here 255. So for Ibgp neighbor it's okay, but for Ebgp it's 1. So you need to type multi-hop command to increase that one. So we use that one for that purpose. Okay, what is the use of confederation in BGP? So again we discussed this one. If you want to split autonomous system and small autonomous system, so we are using confederation, okay, for that purpose. And which algorithm is used by BGP for best path selection? So they are using composite metric. 14 attributes, they are using different attributes. BGP, which type of routing protocol? So it's a path vector routing protocol and it's exterior gateway protocol. What will the BGP first check to see if prefix is accessible? BGP will check next hop attribute to determine next hop accessibility first. What are the two methods for reducing the number of Ibgp connection in network? So definitely we have two methods we are using, and we discuss both confederation and route reflector. We using these two methods to reduce. Okay, and what is the rule for synchronization? Again we discuss synchronization and more detail. You can go through that video and you can explain them. Can I use BGP instead of any IGP? No, because BGP work between autonomous, but IGP work inside autonomous system number. So we cannot use any IGP protocol, interior gateway protocol, for exterior purpose. So that's the beauty, that's the only protocol which we use outside. What are the benefit of configuring BGP peer group? Definitely system resources, CPU and memory, and also less configuration, and these are the and more detail we discussed. So this is the benefit of using BGP peer group. Okay, and when is command remove private AS and BGP use? So we use remove private AS. We discussed theoretically, and also we done one lab as well. So you can go through that and you can explain them that why we need remove private AS. Okay, we don't want to ISP forward prefix that learn from private AS. So it will remove the private AS number. Normally we remove the like a private IPs. Private IP never work on internet. We need public IPs. So the same thing happen here. So it will remove the private AS when it's forward to the other ISP. So these are the few questions. It can be more, but when you cover this course, so hopefully you can answer them all the question when they ask related to BGP. And normally interview they will ask you such question. Okay, thank you.